Hi guys, good morning. Today we would discuss some relative pronouns in this class, and we are going to take who, whom, whose, which, that, and all works as a relative pronoun in the sentence. So, in case of relative pronouns, as I have already told you, relative pronouns relates, either it relates a sentence, either it relates a noun or a pronoun in the sentence, anything where it works as a correlator in the sentence. So we can say that it is a relative pronoun. In some cases it is supposed to relate some sentences in English grammar, so it can be called a relative pronoun in the sentence. One thing is remaining part here. If we are going to use who, whom, whose, which, that as a relative pronoun in the sentence, so we would have to focus on those facts where we are using these words as a relative pronoun in the sentence. We want to know that if we are using these words as a relative pronoun in the sentence, we want to know that before which words, if we are using them, whether it is giving an elaboration of the noun or it is giving an identification of the noun. This is the matter. In other words, we can say that the use of which, who, whose, whom, that, if they are supposed to elaborate a noun, then we can use a comma before them. If they are not giving any type of elaboration of the noun in the sentence, we cannot use a comma. It means they are identifying the noun used before them. So we can say that if these words working as a relative pronoun in the sentence, if they are giving us an elaboration of the noun, then we can use a comma before the relative pronoun. If they are not supposed to give any type of elaboration of the noun and they are giving an identification of the noun, then we cannot use the comma before the relative pronouns. This is the basic difference between among these. So if who, first of all we are going to take only who working as a relative pronoun. Who working as a relative pronoun in the sentence, if who is giving an elaboration of the noun used before who, then we can say that here we can use a comma before the noun and just before who and just before who. If who is giving an identification of the noun at the noun used just before who, then we can say that here we cannot use a comma. So it is very clear, where we find an elaboration of the noun we can use a comma, where we find an identification of the noun we cannot use a comma. If I say Gandhiji, who fought for the freedom of our country, here we are using who. Gandhiji, who fought for the freedom of our country. Here we cannot use, here we can use a comma. Here we can use a comma because everybody everybody knows that Gandhiji was a political leader of India, and everybody is familiar with Gandhiji. Everybody is familiar with the personality of Gandhiji. So we wouldn't require any type of identification here. We need only elaboration of Gandhiji. And elaboration of Gandhiji refers to the fact that he was the political leader. He was the political leader. This is the elaboration. This is not identification. This is elaboration. And it was Gandhiji who fought for the freedom of our country. This is the elaboration. This is the elaboration of the noun used as Gandhiji. Here, it is not the identification. We are not going to identify the noun used just before who. Here, we are taking elaboration of the noun. So we can say that if who used in a sentence is giving an elaboration of the noun, we can use a comma just before who. If who is not giving an elaboration of the noun, it is giving us an identification of the noun, then we cannot use a comma before who. This is the basic difference. Apart from this, who, whom, which, that. Who, whom, which, that. All works as a relative pronoun in the sentence. And while working as a relative pronoun in the sentence, they may either give an elaboration of the noun, they may give us an identification of the noun. They may give both. Either they can give elaboration of the noun or they can give identification of the noun. I would like to take some examples. But before taking some examples, we want to say the fact that which, the basic difference between which and that. Which, the use of which can be done in case of relative pronouns, but in case of not with human beings and pet animals. They can be used only with non-living things. But that working as a relative pronoun in the sentence can work with living things and non-living things. It can work with both. It can work with living things and it can work with non-living things. It can work with human beings. It can work with objects in the form of non-living things. So this is the basic difference between which and that in English grammar. So here I would like to take some examples to clarify the facts. As I say, the car that Mohan bought runs on electricity and gas. Here, this example, the car, after the car we are using that is working as a relative pronoun here because it is relating a word used just before it. And here the sentence is the car that Mohan bought runs on electricity and gas. Here we find an elaboration, not identification, elaboration of the noun car. That is working as a relative pronoun because it is relating a noun used just before it. And here we find an elaboration of the noun, and we are supposed to find an elaboration of the noun. We can use comma just before the noun. The car, comma, that Mohan bought yesterday, comma, runs on electricity and gas. In this sentence, we apply comma because we are finding here an elaboration of the noun, not identification of the noun. If you are finding identification of the noun, we wouldn't require any type of comma to use there. In the next sentence, the musician that won the award is Indian. Here we are not familiar with the musician who is supposed to won the award and who is an Indian. You are not familiar with that person. So here we need an identification of the noun. Here we wouldn't require any type of elaboration of the noun. So here that the musician that won the award is Indian. The musician that won the award. Here that is working as a relative pronoun in the sentence, and it is giving us an identification of the noun musician. So here we don't require any type of elaboration. We require only identification here. And as I have told you, in case of identification, we cannot use a comma. So here we can say that the musician that won the award is an Indian. In the next example, the dog that is chasing the squirrel. The dog that is chasing the squirrels belongs to Mohan. Here we have used that. The dog that is chasing the squirrels belongs to Mohan. Here in this sentence, that is working as a relative pronoun here because it is relating the dog as a noun in the sentence. So here we are finding an elaboration, not identification, elaboration of the noun. The dog, comma, that is chasing the squirrels, comma, belongs to Mohan. Here we are finding an elaboration, not identification. And when we find elaboration of the noun, we can use a comma. Next sentence. If in a sentence there are two subjects working along within the sentence, and one subject is in living form and another subject is non-living form, then what can we do? Suppose if in a sentence there are two subjects, one is in living form and another is in non-living form, then what can we do? Which type of relative pronoun can we use in this sentence? Can we use that or can we use which? As we have already told you, which can be used with non-living things, and that can be used with living things and non-living things, both. So here first subject is living things, another subject is non-living things. So we can use here that as a relative pronoun in the sentence. The sentence is, I saw the man and the box that you were talking of. I saw the man and the box that you were talking of. Here, I saw the man and the box. That is working as a relative pronoun here, and it is giving us an identification of the noun, not elaboration of the noun. So we cannot use a comma here. Apart from this, one thing is remaining here. If some pronouns as all, any, the only, the same, none, much, no, the little, the few, something, anything, nothing, and superlative degrees, all these things are followed by that, only that. We cannot use here who or which. We cannot use here who or which in the sentence. I repeat, all, any, only, the same, none, much, no, the little, the few, something, anything, nothing, and superlative degrees are followed by that, only that. All these cannot be followed by who or which in a sentence. So let us take some examples of them. If I say, this is the same man who met me yesterday. Here we cannot use who. This is the same man who met me yesterday. We cannot use here who. We can say that this is the same man that met me yesterday. This sentence is right. We cannot say that this is the same man who met me yesterday. With the same, we cannot use who. In another example, this is the same book which you were reading. Which can be used with non-living things. Who can be used with living things. So here we cannot say that this is the same book which you were reading yesterday. This is the book. If we are using the same, we cannot use which. Here we can use only that. This is the same book that you were reading yesterday. So guys, with the same, we cannot use which or who. Which in case of non-living things, who in case of living things. We cannot say that this is the same man. This is the same man who gave me pen. We cannot say. That gave me a pen, we can say. Because that can be used with living and non-living things. It can work with both living and non-living things. So, we would take the next example. He spent up the little amount which he had. This sentence is wrong. Because a little, we cannot use which here. We can use only that. So the right sentence is he sent up the little amount that he had. We can say that. We cannot use which here. We can use only that. We cannot say this is the best which and I can do for you. This is the best which I can do for you. We can say that this is the best that I can do for you. So finally we can say that all, any, the only, the same, none, much, no, the little, the few, something, anything, nothing, and superlative degrees. All cannot be followed by which or who. All can be followed only by that in English grammar. We cannot use which with all of these words. We can use only that with all these words in English grammar. So I would like to take the next rule. One thing is remaining here. Suppose if in a sentence a noun is not supposed to be given, a noun is not supposed to be given in the sentence, can we use which or that? Can we use whom or who here? No, we cannot use a relative pronoun. Which, that, who cannot be used as a relative pronoun in the sentence if a noun is not mentioned here. I repeat, we cannot use these words as a relative pronoun in the sentence if a noun is not mentioned here. For example, we would like to take some examples. If I say, please invite whomever you choose. Please invite whomever you choose. Here we are not using a noun just after a verb. Please invite. After verb there is no noun. Please invite whomever you choose. Here whomever is working. Whomever is working as a subject and as an object in the sentence. It is working here. It seems that it is working as a both. Whomever, please invite whomever you choose. Whomever you choose. If we see is with a cursory glance, we can say that it is working as a subject and it is working as an object in the sentence. But in reality, it is working only as an object in the sentence. Please invite whomever, because after subject only objects come. So here subject is missing. Please invite whom? Please invite whomever. Here whomever is working as an object in the sentence. It is the first object of the verb invite. It is an object of invite. Please invite whomever you choose. Here whomever can be an object of another verb used in the sentence choose. So where in the sentence a noun is not used, so we can use only whomever or whoever in the sentence. So finally, we can say that whomever can work as an object in the sentence where a subject is missing. We can say that please invite whomever you choose. Here, whomever is working as an object in the sentence. So guys, we would meet in our next class. So I want to close the class now. Thank you.